Two NATO allies are making completely opposite claims about the same 100-year-old treaty. Turkey says Greece broke this treaty so badly that it legally forfeited ownership of strategic islands. Greece says Turkey is rewriting history to justify territorial aggression. So, I did some digging and read the actual treaties from 1923 and 1947 that both countries signed to see which historical narrative the documents actually support. What I found might surprise you. Here are the two completely different stories. Turkey's version: we generously gave these islands to Greece in 1923, but only on condition they remain demilitarized. Greece broke that sacred promise, so the deal is void. Greece's version: we liberated these historically Greek islands from Ottoman rule. The 1923 treaty simply recognized our legitimate sovereignty. Turkey signed it and can't change their mind a century later. Both sides point to the exact same historical documents to prove completely opposite points. So, let's go back to the beginning and trace how these islands actually changed hands throughout history. Because the story is much more complicated than either side admits. For nearly 400 years, these islands were unquestionable Ottoman territory. When Constantinople fell in 1453, the Ottoman Empire gradually absorbed the Byzantine Greek islands. This wasn't conquest of Greek territory, there was no Greek state. The islands had Greek-speaking Orthodox Christian populations, but they were Ottoman subjects, not Greek citizens. This is crucial because it undermines the modern Greek narrative of historically Greek islands. Yes, they were Greek-speaking and culturally Greek, but politically they were Ottoman for 4 centuries. Everything changed in 1821. The Greek War of Independence erupted. For the first time in nearly 4 centuries, there was a Greek state making territorial claims. But which territories could this new Greek state legitimately claim? The 1830 London Protocol created the first Greek state. But look at the map they drew. Greece got the Peloponnese, central Greece and some nearby islands. That's it. All those Aegean islands we're fighting about today, still Ottoman. Crete, the Dodecanese, the eastern Aegean islands, all remained under the Sultan's control. Greece spent the next 80 years gradually expanding. The 1881 Convention of Constantinople gave them Thessaly, implementing recommendations from the earlier 1878 Treaty of Berlin. The Balkan Wars of 1912 to 1913 brought most of the Aegean islands. But here's what's important. Each expansion was negotiated and internationally recognized. Greece didn't just declare ownership, they got legal transfers. By 1913, Greece controlled most Aegean islands except the Dodecanese, which were held by Italy, and a few strategic islands near the Turkish coast. Then World War I changed everything, once again. After World War I, Greece made a massive gamble. They invaded Anatolia, trying to create a greater Greece, stretching across the Aegean. It was a complete catastrophe. Turkish forces under Mustafa Kemal routed the Greek army. Hundreds of thousands of Greeks fled or were expelled from Asia Minor. This brings us to Lausanne in 1923. Greece had just suffered the worst military defeat in its modern history. Turkey had emerged victorious under new leadership. So, what did the Treaty of Lausanne actually say about the islands? Article 12, the decision taken on the 13th February 1914 by the Conference of London regarding the sovereignty of Greece over the islands of Lemnos, Samothrace, Mytilene, Chios, Samos and Nicaria is confirmed. Notice the word confirmed. This wasn't Turkey giving up new territory. It was acknowledging a decision made 9 years earlier in 1914. But Article 13 added the famous condition: no naval base and no fortification will be established in the said islands. Turkey's modern claim is that this was still a package deal. We confirmed your sovereignty, but only if they stay demilitarized. Greece argues, you acknowledged our legal rights. Conditions don't void sovereignty transfers. World War II added one final piece to this puzzle. Italy, on the losing side, controlled the Dodecanese islands, Rhodes, Kos and others. The 1947 Treaty of Paris transferred these islands to Greece, but the language was even stronger about demilitarization. Article 14. These islands shall be and shall remain demilitarized. Turkey points to this as evidence that demilitarization wasn't optional, it was fundamental to the territorial transfers. Greece responds that this language came from the Allied powers, not from Turkey, so Turkey can't claim violation of agreements they didn't even sign. By 1947, the modern map was complete, but the legal arguments were just beginning. For decades after 1947, both countries accepted this settlement. Then came July 15, 1974, a date that changed everything. The Greek military junta, yes, Greece was ruled by a military dictatorship, staged a coup in Cyprus, overthrowing the elected president, Archbishop Makarios. Their goal was enosis, uniting Cyprus with Greece. They installed a puppet government under Nikos Samson, a notorious extremist. 5 days later, on July 20th, Turkish paratroopers landed on Cyprus at dawn. Within days, the Greek junta collapsed from the humiliation, but Turkey wasn't done. In August, Turkey launched a second offensive, seizing 36% of the island and creating what became the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, recognized only by Turkey. 162,000 Greek Cypriots became refugees in their own country. Turkey settled 160,000 Turkish citizens in the occupied territory. This is when Greece made a fateful decision about those Aegean islands. Starting in 1974, Greece began militarizing the islands that were supposed to remain demilitarized under the 1923 and 1947 treaties. Athens argued this was legitimate self-defense under Article 51 of the UN Charter. Turkey had just demonstrated it would use military force against Greek populations. Turkey responded by creating the Aegean Army in 1975. 100,000 troops stationed on the Turkish coast, directly facing the Greek islands, equipped with landing craft. Greece saw this as preparation for potential island invasions. Turkey saw Greek militarization as treaty violations. And this is where the modern legal battle begins. Does changed circumstances void old treaty conditions? International law is genuinely divided on this. Some say circumstances can change treaty obligations. Others say sovereignty transfers are permanent. After reading through this entire history, here's what the evidence clearly shows. First, these islands weren't historically Greek in any political sense. They were Ottoman for 400 years. Second, Greece acquired them through legitimate, internationally recognized treaties, not through historical right, but through diplomatic negotiations. Third, the demilitarization conditions were clearly part of the treaties. This isn't a Turkish invention. And then last, whether violating those conditions voids sovereignty is genuinely disputed in international law. Both sides cherry-pick from this history. Turkey emphasizes the conditions while ignoring the sovereignty transfers. Greece emphasizes sovereignty while downplaying the military restrictions. The historical truth is messier than either narrative admits. What this historical deep dive shows is that both countries are using selective history to support modern political goals. The islands changed hands multiple times throughout history. Ottoman rule, gradual Greek acquisition, negotiated settlements, treaty conditions. Neither side can claim simple historical justice. This is about power, resources, and strategic positioning, disguised as historical grievance. If you enjoyed this historical deep dive that cuts through political narratives, subscribe for more myth-busting. And let me know, which historical claim should I tackle next? Because understanding the real history is the only way to see through modern propaganda.